What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Yo, I want to welcome you to my podcast. I decided to do another late night live tonight. For if you woke, that's great. If you sleep, you'll see this in the morning. Look, if you are on Facebook and you are watching this, um, I can't see your comment. I'm gonna see it late. I prefer that you switch over to YouTube. I'm typing it up now. Um, but then I'll be able to see your comment on YouTube. But tonight I thought I would do a late night live. Why? Because I'm off tomorrow. And what better way to do a podcast than to go live? So if you are on YouTube, I can see your comments live. If you are on Facebook, I'm going to get a little bit of a delay, but I will be able to see them. But I want to welcome you to the Marcus Stewart podcast. And you know what, tonight what I'm doing the episode because of a conversation that I had earlier today. I was at Walmart buying some cashews, and somebody who knew me came up. And most of the time when people they know you, they know that when I say know me, that means they know I'm in church. I have a church. I do the whole ministry thing. And so he's with his girlfriend, and he says, "What's up? What's up?" I'm not trying to get into the whole no deep conversations. I'm trying to get in and get out. You know how they go. I'm not trying to evangelize to nobody. I'm trying to get my cashews and leave. I was in my work truck, so I don't have a whole lot of time. But this was his opportunity to talk to me about my faith. And keep in mind, he don't believe what I believe. So I am a Christian, unapologetically Christian, by the way, African American, unapologetic Christian, black, and I love Jesus. And he proceeded to tell me in front of his girl why he thought that I should not be a Christian. I'm not going to tell you all the thoughts that came through my head while he was talking, but I did respond to the stupidity with some of the things that he decided that he wanted to say. But I say that for this episode because I'm gonna give you some false assumptions about being a Christian that people say and people think. And I'm not here to call out no other religions, but I'm just here to discuss some of the fakeness, false assumptions that people say about Christians. And he was saying them, and I'm like, bro, what kind of Christians? What kind of Christians do you know? What kind of people you be talking to? I don't know. I don't know if he was trying to show off his girl. I don't know what he was doing. But this episode is definitely just going to focus on assumptions that people make about Christians that are unrealistic. And I, tonight, on this late night live, am definitely going to go into it. So look, it's 13 of them. And look, I got more, but I don't want to make this I don't want to make this episode be like 3 hours long. But here's one of the things that he said. He said that as a Christian, you can't like nice things or that makes you materialistic. I'm like, bro, where did you get that from? Sometimes people say things about Christians or Christianity, stuff that they heard, stuff that they done saw on YouTube or TikTok. And I'm like, bruh, have you ever read the Bible? He was like, yes. I'm like, bruh, a lot of the people in the Old Testament were rich. The Apostle Paul, he wasn't broke. He just, he had a hustle. Like I'm telling him this, and I'm like, many people in the Old Testament, they weren't just doing well, they were rich. And I'm like, just because you have nice things does not mean that you are materialistic as a Christian. It don't mean that you just chasing the clout. I had to tell him, like, bro, I like having nice stuff, The problem is not having nice stuff. The problem is when you just prioritize that stuff over people. And like he really debated me, about, you know, as Christians, like the Bibles teach us to be poor or something. Like, who said that? Where do people get this kind of stuff from? I don't know. But like, I don't know. I'm like, bro, the Bible does not say that money is the root of all evil. It says the love of money is the root of all evil. Like, it's okay to have money. It's okay to have nice stuff, but you can't let stuff take priority over people. Like, I, at this point, I wasn't getting frustrated. But this is one of the misconceptions about being a Christian. Like, you just have to be poor. Like, God is not going to be happy with you if you got a lot of stuff, or if you got a lot of Jordan tennis shoes, or if you got a lot of money in the bank. Who said, where where they do that at? I'm like, bro, no. You just need to be able to prioritize your money and your relationships in the right places. And I'm like, and here's what I will say. If you watching this, whenever you watch this, if you were the guy, I told you about my podcast, but I like that we were able to have a dialogue, because he wasn't just trying to overtalk me and I wasn't just trying to overtalk him, but I was really just probing to see, like, what kind of craziness do people be saying about people that say, okay, we worship God, we do believe the Bible, we go to church, we call ourselves Christians. The whole term Christian just turned him off. Well, not him, not necessarily him, but his girl. And I'm like, all right, we're gonna sit down and we're gonna have a conversation. I had a little time, and then some of the stuff that's on my list tonight we didn't go into. But when he left, I was like, bro, I think it'd be a good idea to just, jump into the conversation. So, Christians are materialistic if they like nice things. That is false. That is 100% false. The Bible never tells you as a Christian to not like nice things. It's okay. A lot of the people in the Old Testament, as I said, were rich. But the difference with them and us is, like, people nowadays, they'll mistreat you to have an extra dollar. Like, God don't like that. It's okay to have nice stuff, but it's not okay to prioritize your stuff over your relationships. And that's where we get it wrong. And so let me just dispel that right now. Christians can have nice things and not be materialistic. Christians can have a lot of money and not be greedy. It just depends on how you prioritize it. And so, look, that's number 13. That's a light one. I guarantee you they get better. Christians can't have materialistic things. All right. Here's another one. It's number 12. Christians have to be perfect. Christians have to say and do everything perfect, or God is not going to be pleased. I don't know what Bible people be reading. You know what? That's People don't be reading their Bible. This is one misconception about Christians. Like, you have to say the right thing all the time. You have to do everything perfect all the time. You have to be perfect all the time. There is no room for error all the time, or else God is going to strike you down. I think this kind of view comes from people who had trauma in their childhood. You had to be traumatized, bruh. You had to have an abusive upbringing. People who made you think and feel this way. And look, this goes into one of the later ones about Christians, that the Bible condones slavery and all. I mean, bruh, you have to have a twisted and warped mindset to really believe that you have to do and say everything perfect if you are a Christian. Like, the Bible does not ever give you the idea that you have to be perfect. Look, I did an episode about this, and I have another one of these. I did an episode about this. Like, the Bible never tells you to be perfect, but the Bible does tell you to grow. Like, you need to grow. You need to mature. You need to progress. Like, the Bible never tells Christians to be perfect and say and do everything perfect. And so one of his things was, well, this wasn't one of his, but this is one of the things that I hear a lot. Like, why people be like, are you a Christian? Like, Christians always have to be perfect. It's one of the, I forgot the name. I'm trying to think of the name, but it's one of the denominations. I'm non-denominational, but one of the denominations, they make it like, oh, if you play a game with dice, you going to hell. Or you like, if you play cards, you going to hell. Or if you, I'm like, I don't know where these people got this stuff from, but it's false. It's false. Look, the Bible never highlights perfection. It highlights process. And if you are a real Christian, you know that your Christian walk is a process. Man, sometimes when people say stuff, it does annoy me, but I recognize. And look, y'all gotta pray for me for real because, like, bro, sometimes I get annoyed. I do. But I need patience because it's like, bro, what are you talking about, bro? Like, where did you get these false assumptions from? Like, this is all lies. And you know what? The truth is, when you hear it, you probably gonna change your mind. But sometimes people get so stubborn that they don't want to hear it. But you know, that was number 12. Christians have to be perfect and say and do everything perfect. Um, when you're a Christian, you have to just become this perfect person. And I'm like, bruh, if that was true, God would have booted me. He would have gave me the boot like he gave me the boot like 10 years ago. Cause I ain't never been perfect, but I have made progress. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that's one of the misconceptions. Like God just wants you to be perfect. As soon as you say you're gonna change your no. That is false. That is so false. Look, here's another one. Now, this one didn't come from the dude today, but this one did come from I used to work with a coworker, and I'm not gonna say his name because he may end up watching tonight. He was an Anglo-Saxon. You know what that means. And he said that um Christians don't believe in science. Christians don't believe in science. This is false. So I've had a couple of debates about this where people they say they can explain or they saw a movie or they saw a TikTok, they saw a video that can explain the plagues in the Bible. And if you can explain it, then that means it's not a miracle. And I'm like, I don't know what people you've been listening to that make you think that Christians are against science. Yeah, the truth is that is false, by the way. But we believe that God and science do go together. I mean, maybe some super hyper traditional Christians don't believe that God and science go together. But here's how I would prove that point. If you say that you can explain away the plagues in the Bible, I would say that's no great thing. Look, even in the Bible, it says now this is the Old Testament, so that means this is not first century Christian. This is like like thousands of years before that in Egypt that Moses did something, and then the Egyptian magicians could do the same stuff. So I mean, to me, it's not a surprise that you can explain it. But here's the thing that makes it a miracle is like Moses did it on command. Like he would pray and then it would happen, and then he would pray and it would go away. And then when they could pray, they could do their magic and make it happen, but like they couldn't make it go away. So like my response to that is like just because you can explain it, don't mean that it wasn't a miracle. Even if they could explain it back then, even after they had done all of the stuff that Moses did, at some point they was like, this this ain't magic no more, bro. This something different. And that's why I say that, like, just because you can figure out, you know, what happened, that does not mean that it wasn't God. That means that you just figured it out. I believe that science is man's study of God's knowledge and wisdom. That's what science is. Science is the study of the things that God has already put together. But that does not mean that we as Christians don't believe it or we are anti-science. No, that is just false. That is the 10 plagues. What makes them miracles is because Moses was able to make them appear and disappear on command. And the Egyptians, they could start it, but they couldn't stop it. They could make it happen, but they couldn't make it go away. And so, like, that's one of the false conceptions of Christians, that we are anti-science. And if you are a Christian and you are watching this and you are anti-science, You need to really go and do some research, because the Bible does not ever teach that we are against science, or we are against worshiping the stars, but we are not against studying the stars. Astrology, we are not against astrology. We are not against science. We are not against biology. That's just one of the things that people say to make you not want to be a Christian. Here's another one. So we got those three. Look, I started off with those three because those are the easiest three. Now here's another one. This is one I did an episode about this, maybe like, come on, man, some weeks ago. Here's one of the misconceptions. Now, all Christian men are nice guys. You a Christian, you supposed to be a yes man. You supposed to say yes. You supposed to just nod and smile and be cool all the time. I want you to do this. I want you to go look at some of those characters in the Old Testament and tell me if they were nice guys. David was not the nice guy. David was a warrior. I say that because, you know, people have these ideas of what a Christian is supposed to be. But that is not the way that the Bible describes us. I want you to go and look at some of those characters in the Old Testament and tell me if you think that they were nice guys. These dudes was, I ain't even gonna say it, but look, they would chop your head off. Not because they were mean though. See, look, I did an episode about this like a couple weeks ago. The Bible does not tell you as a man to be a nice guy. Never. Look, all right, look. Here's a story that's in the Bible. They come to arrest Jesus. They come to arrest him. Peter chops off the soldier's ear. Now, let me put that in perspective for you. Peter had a sword or a knife. He had something that was violent that cut the man's ear off. Jesus wasn't surprised because Peter had a sword or a knife. What that says is that Peter was ready for the smoke. I say that because, this is one of the falsities. This is number 10. One of the falsities that all Christian men have to be nice guys. Don't believe that. Like, God wants you to be a good man, not a nice guy. Now, I did a whole episode on this. I'm just telling you that that is false. Just because you're a Christian don't mean that you have to say yes. You don't have to be a yes man just because you're a Christian. Look, I'm a speak for me. I know how to say no. That's one of the first things I learned about God. God knows how to say no, and guess what? So do I. It's false. False, 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 false. If you got a girlfriend and your girlfriend say because you are a Christian man, you're gonna have to say yes. You know what? Maybe that's why a lot of the women they say, "Oh, I want a Christian man. Oh, I want somebody who believe in God." Maybe they think that because you're a Christian that you're gonna say yes all the time. I'm here to tell you, the Bible does not teach that. The Bible teaches me to be a good man, not a nice guy. I want to stress that. We are godly, but I want to tell you something. I want to tell you something. Now, I'm a good man. Let me tell you something. You do something to one of my children, y- hey, we gonna leave it just like that. I mean, we are good men, but we are not nice guys. Go check out some of those fellas in the Old Testament. Peter, I mean, look, I'm just trying to get y'all to see this, right? That's one of the falsities, man. Just because you're a Christian, you just got to say yes all the time. No, you don't. The Bible does teach you how to be a man, masculine man, defend, protect, guard. Like, we have to do this as men. This hippie Jesus. I'm gonna get to it, but this hippie Jesus that people have. Hey, look, here's a school word. Postulated. This hippie Jesus that people postulated. Oh yeah, yeah, God is love. You're right, God is love. But guess what? If you mess with one of the things that God loves, God gonna have to do something to you. And then listen, I'm not promoting violence. I'm just saying, we one of the misconceptions about us as Christian men is that we supposed to be these nice guys. Look, go check out the episode. It's called "Stop Being Nice." And I don't have time to go into it right here, but my brother, my sister. Just because you're a Christian don't mean you're supposed to be nice. That means you're supposed to be good. Good and nice are two different things. So, all right, here's another one. So this is actually one of the things that when we was having conversation today, this is what he said that because you're a Christian, um, that God wants you to not make money. I'm like, what? This goes back to kind of one of those first one, like you can't do business in a certain type of way. Like like I don't want to say chase the bag because I don't believe in chasing the bag. I don't believe in chasing the bag, but I do believe in doing business in a certain type of aggressive way. Like just because you a Christian don't mean that you're not supposed to do business in an aggressive way. Now look, Jesus in the Bible does give multiple parables about doing business, and one of them, and look, this is the truth. I didn't make this up. And one of them he praises the shrewd businessman, the man who was good at doing business. What did that say to you? The Christian man, look, it's another place in the Bible that says, like, don't be lazy in business. Like, I think this is one of my frustrations with Christians. Like, we try to over spiritualize everything to the point to where you feel like because you saved, you can't make good money, or you not on top of your business. Like, bro, we as Christians, we supposed to love God, but we supposed to make money. Like we supposed to be about our business, about our father's business, but then about our business too. Like you need to make money. I hate that we over spiritualize that, but that's one of the things that he brought up. And I did say, bro, I can understand why you say that, but uh, that's one of those false assumptions about Christians that we're not supposed to make money. You are supposed to be about your business. It's okay to be aggressive as long as it does not become aggressive to the point that you taking advantage of people or that you manipulating people or mistreating people or doing people bad or stepping on people to make a dollar. You ain't supposed to do that. That's what the Bible teaches. Like as a Christian, I ain't gonna do that. But guess what? If you don't know how to read your contracts and you coming to do business with me and I have it plainly set out for you in the contract and you ain't done your due diligence, guess what? Be careful how you sign on the dotted line because I'm going to hold you to it. And so is the law. I'm just telling you, you got to be able to do your business. That is a false assumption about Christians. Just because you love God don't mean you ain't supposed to be handling your business. My brother, yes, you can love God, but you need to be about your business. You need to hustle, my brother. Look, look, look. I'm going to do the effect. Be about your business. You got to. You got to. Look, I'm not telling you to step on people and be mean to people and manipulate people and do people wrong, but you got to make your bread. You do. You got to do that. And God ain't against you because you good at doing business. Look, he praises the shrewd man. I'm just saying that because like you the Bible don't teach you as a man, this is a show for men, but as a Christian, the Bible don't teach you to do business in the soft way. One of the things the Christian is told is not to be slothful in business. Look it up. Now, I ain't gonna point out the scripture because this ain't Bible study. Go check out my other podcast for that shameless plug, the Bible study podcast. We can run scriptures on that. But this is one of the false assumptions about Christians, bro, that annoys me. Like, we not supposed to be good at business. We not supposed to be making money. We not supposed to try to provide for our families. No, no, that is a lie. That's false. This one of those things that people say about Christians that make people not want to be a Christian, but it is a lie. Look, you supposed to make your money. Look, one of the scriptures in the Bible say a man that don't take care of his family is worse than an infidel. A man who doesn't work does not eat. That means you need to have a job. You need to be making you some money, my brother. I say that. Go back and watch all of my episodes, bro. I ain't never been the type of Christian to say you could just get away with just doing. All right, look, that's number 9. Christianity does not mean that you do business in the soft way. Christianity on the flip side of that means you love God, but at the same time you understand that you got responsibilities here on earth, and you need to take care of your responsibilities for real. All right, look, here's one of the ones, bruh. This one right here, I have gotten into so many debates. I have gotten into so many disagreements. Here's number 8. Christianity means you force Jesus on everybody you meet. They like, I don't like Christians because they always trying to force feed Jesus. You know, they always trying to force me to accept Jesus. And then when I don't accept him, they say I'm going to hell. Well, I'm like, wait a minute, hold on, hold on. You can't get mad at all the Christians for the few bad Christians that you met. Like maybe the people who misrepresented the Christian faith got it wrong. And people are going on their bad personal experiences. So you gonna say everybody bad because you had a bad experience, but that is not it. Look, and here's the instance. That's why look, the false assumptions about the Christian faith or about Christians can be dispelled by just reading the Bible. In the Bible, Paul, look, he's writing to one of the churches and he prays that God gives him opportunity to preach the gospel. That means he wasn't just walking up to people talking about believe in Jesus or you going to hell. Accept the Lord. I'm gonna beat you up. No, he wasn't doing that. We don't do that. This is one of those things that people like they say about Christians that is not true. Now they probably thinking about a bad example that they had years ago. But the truth is, like, we don't do that. He wasn't forcing his beliefs on anyone, and neither are we. Bruh, I talk to a whole lot of people. If you around me, you wouldn't even know that I believed in Jesus. You wouldn't even know that I believed in God. Because I talk regular, I dress regular, I don't tote my Bible around, I'm not quoting scriptures every day. I'm not sitting up trying to lay hands on people talking about you need to be saved in the name of Jesus. Nah, I don't be doing all that. Because why? No. Paul prayed for God to give him opportunity, and I pray for God to give me opportunity. I think that if God creates an opportunity for me to talk about what I believe, then that's great. And if the opportunity is not there, I'm not gonna force me to look at another place where Jesus tells the disciples, he like, hey, if they don't receive your message, shake the dust from your feet. You know what that means? Leave them there and keep going. Like we not here to do that. This is a false assumption about Christians. That if you around, look, don't be. This is why I be telling Christians, bro. If you believe in God, don't be overbearing with your faith. If people can't see what you believe in the way you live your life, come on. I mean, you talking about it is just gonna make them go away from you. Like they ain't gonna never want to talk to you. They ain't gonna never sit with you, bruh. Okay, look, real story, true story, recent story, right? I'm gonna try to keep it to where nobody that watches this gonna know what it is. But check it out. So I'm somewhere with my daughter, my youngest daughter. She's 5, and so I'm here at this place with my daughter. And if you know, when I'm with my girls, we play all day. We play all day, like all day, especially if we out. So I'm there with her, be by herself, but we at a public place. This lady comes up to me and starts asking me real personal questions. Now, I could tell she was old, but she started asking me like deep personal questions. I'm thinking in my mind, and she's trying to hit on me. But I ain't know. I'm a probe and I'm gonna see where it go. I'm gonna see where it go. By the way, I got a girlfriend, so I wasn't trying to flirt. I was just like, why is she asking me all these personal questions? Bro, she comes over, she starts asking me these personal questions. Now then, get this, without me saying anything about faith, she says is, you need to be married. You need to be saved. You need to be speaking in tongues and walking in the Holy Ghost. And I'm thinking in my mind, whoa, whoa, oh, wait a minute. We just switched from flirting to this. And then I'm thinking, oh, this is one of the Jesus jokers. Now keep in mind, she don't know who I am. She don't know that I'm a true believer. She don't know that I'm walking with God. But she commences to like this type of evangelism. And I'm like, see, this is why people this is the kind of stuff that gives Christians a bad name. And I hate stuff like that because it does. It gives Christians a bad name. This lady just coming to me, don't even know who I am, don't know nothing about me. Just start telling me that I need to be saved and I'm going to hell and blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, oh, lady. Oh, Lord. This lady. Oh, my God. I was just like, okay. maybe she is trying to talk to me. I don't know, but I was like, "Oh yeah, okay, okay, thank you. Why you not with this? Why you and this young lady's mother ain't together?" And blah 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 blah. Ma'am, I don't know you like that. And even if, bruh, I'm trying to get you to see the point. Like this, what she did. This is why people say This is why people say number 8. That Christians always trying to force feed. But if you read the Bible, Jesus tells disciples, "Shake the dust from your feet." That means if you get the opportunity and people don't accept the opportunity, you're supposed to keep going, keep it moving, keep it pushing. This lady did not. It was an uncomfortable 5 minutes. And I didn't make it uncomfortable for her. She definitely made it uncomfortable for me. And I'm just standing there and just listening to her and I'm like, I can't believe this old woman is saying what she was saying. But here's the thing. The thing is that's just a false assumption, but I can understand where he got that false assumption from. Right? Here's another one. It's number 7. That if you a Christian, that means you hate all other religions. Again, this is one of those to where I don't know what kind of people that you've been around or what you were raised around or what church that you have been to. But look, I'm gonna do an episode about how you know if a church is right for you or not. Because, bruh, if you don't hate no. Our job is your job as a Christian is not to hate nobody. Like this is called false. This is so false. We don't hate other religions. A true Christian is not going to show hate towards people who don't believe what we believe. This is the thing about being a Christian, bro. Like God is all love. And so to believe that because you are a Christian, you have to hate all other religions is completely false. But this is one of those things that people say about Christians that that is just false, man. Like, look, that is false. That is not in the Bible. The Bible don't teach that. Um, look, Paul don't teach that. Jesus never taught that. Like, nobody taught that, especially not from the biblical perspective. Like, we wait for God to either create opportunity or we leave it in God's hands. But there has never been like if God is love, how can we have room for hate? Like if you here's another one. This is like a part B to this. Like you hate homosexuals. If you're a Christian, you hate homosexuals. Look, I understand why people would say that, but we as Christians, we don't hate nobody. That means this: if Christians hate homosexuals, that means you have to hate people who cheat on their wives or their husbands. You have to hate people who are committing fornication. All of those are sins, by the way. I don't know if you can't just single out one and just hate these type of people. You can't do that. I mean, I, I'm just trying to point out this, like this conversation. I decided to do a whole episode about false assumptions about Christians, and that's all false. We don't hate nobody. We don't. We show love. We show appreciation. We show concern for people, no matter what they believe. Like this is the kind of faith that we have. We don't hate people. We hate evil, but we love people. We show love, we show appreciation, we show concern. Like we be patient with people. Like that assumption is false. Look, then here's another one. We believe in fairy tales because you read the Bible and you believe the stuff that's in the Bible. As a Christian, we believe the Bible, so we believe in fairy tales. So one of the things that he did bring up was you read the Bible? Yeah, I read the Bible. You believe the Bible? Yeah, I believe the Bible. And he gave me a whole long laundry list of reasons why I was not smart or not wise for believing what the Bible says. You don't have common sense. You brainwashed by the white man. What? I asked him, I said, hey man, have you ever read the Bible? And he was like, man, I started reading, but I ain't never still ain't finished reading it because it's just a bunch of... Come on, bro. Look, any person with common sense, if you read the Bible, like we read the Bible, but we also research the evidence. Research the evidence. And you need to find you somebody that can help you to do it the right way, bro. Like I was like, bro, like who? where have you been getting this stuff from? Like, this is not, sometimes when people say the kind of stuff that they say to me about like being a Christian, I be like, okay, if it's legitimate, I want to hear legit. Like, if it's a legitimate argument, if it's a legitimate rebuttal, if it's something that's legitimate, I'll hear it, bro. Because I respect that. But if it's just something that you heard, if it's just something that people done said, I'm like, bro. Most people that have something, they say we believe in fairy tales. We don't have common sense because we read the Bible. Most people that say that haven't read the Bible, because if you read them stories in the Bible, now look, there may be places that is like, okay, I don't understand what they're saying. But if you start reading some of the stories that's in there, I mean, bro, those stories are really regular. And like, we read the Bible, but we also research for evidence. Like, and here's the thing. Here's the thing about that. Most people who criticize us, or me, let me use me personally. Most people who have criticized me for reading the Bible, once they started reading it and doing their own personal research, the evidence that they come to converts them because the evidence proves certain things about him. And it's like, bro, one of the false accusations is like we believe in fairy tales or we don't use common sense because we read the Bible. Bruh, there are so many, but this is what I love about being a Christian is because people before me have tried to discredit it. People before me have tried to say that it's unreal. People before me have written about it. They have done studies on it. They have done so much research about it. This is what I love. I live in this century that I live in because people have already done it. And all you got to do is research it. Go read about it. Go find you some books. Go find the alternates to it. Go find the agnostics, the people who started off one way and then transformed. Like, we don't believe in fairy tales. I don't know about you, but I'm grown. I'm like 40, bro. Once you get to a certain age level, that imagination it ceased to exist because you know what bills is like. You know what rent is like. You know what that's like. You know what it's like to have stuff going on in your life. You know what it's like to have heartbreak. Them imaginations is gone. We're like, we don't believe in fairy tales, bro. We don't have mental health issues over here as Christians. But this is one of those false assumptions. Like, look, here's another one that goes along with that. It's one of my favorites right here. We are brainwashed by the white man. I did an episode about this, by the way. I did a whole episode about this. Bruh, because we Christians, this is one of the comments. This he got heated when he started talking about this because he felt like he was trying to save me. And then I always revert back to this. Have you read the Bible? Like, one of the assumptions about Christians is that we have been brainwashed by the white man. I think that is hilarious. First off, because the my auntie is the one who is responsible for my conversion. And truth, this is a true statement. Like, my auntie is the reason she's responsible for my conversion when I was 15. And what I did, I approached the Bible like God wasn't real. I started reading like God wasn't real. And then I started doing that at 15. And then guess what? I had another like reset moment when I turned 27. So this is 12 years later when I turned 27. I did that again. All right, I'm gonna read like God is not real because I need something different, right? And so like it's like this one of these false things that people say like we are brainwashed by the white man, and I say these things because all of these times that I had these shifts in my mental state had I wasn't even around white people. And then get this, when I was reading about it, didn't make me feel no different about white people. Look, this the truth. And look, I don't have nothing against white people. I don't see no white people in the Bible. And I don't got nothing against nobody that's white. And if you see them, fine. But to say that we as Christians are brainwashed by the white man because we believe God of the Bible, come on, man. Man, it's evident that they hadn't read it. He said, bro, we had a heat, bro. He was mad. It was him and his girl having a conversation with me about why I should not be a Christian anymore. And he said, because I have been brainwashed by the white man. And I laughed then and I laugh now because evidently you haven't read the Bible. There are no white people in the Bible. I don't know. I don't know, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but go and research it. I didn't see any white people in the Bible. And I don't have nothing against white people, but I'm just saying the Bible teaches that God is on the side of the one who is oppressed. The Bible teaches that God is always on the side of the one who is oppressed. The Bible teaches you to stand up against oppression. It teaches you to stand up against slavery, injustice. The Bible teaches these things. How can you be brainwashed by the right man because you believe the Bible and the Bible teaches you to go against slavery? I just want to ask the question, bro. Come on, man. Look, this is why I say this. Before you start having these fake assumptions, read the Bible for yourself, man. You will see that Christianity is not the white man's religion if you read it. And then there's history, even in the Bible. The queen from Ethiopia came to Solomon. Ethiopia is in Africa. Come on, man. It is not the white man's religion. I'm just telling you, bruh. It's not. Quit believing everything you hear. Read it. Research it for yourself. I be telling people, bro, like, look, you can't accuse me as a Christian of being brainwashed by the white man because I read the Bible. If you ain't never read the Bible and you don't know what's in it, come on, man. Come on, man. I'm sorry, bro. I'm just, I, people they say that, but I'm here to tell you, if you actually start to read it, the Bible never teaches that. The Bible never teaches you to be okay with slavery or oppression. Um, the Bible never teaches that. It tells you to stand up against injustice. It tells you to stand against evil. Look, and because the Bible teaches that, so if black people are oppressed, the Bible and God, the God that is described in the Bible, tells you to fight for liberation. It just tells you to fight the right way. That's all. Look, it don't say nonviolent like Martin Luther King. That was his dream. That ain't what the Bible teaches, though. If you look in the Old Testament, how did Joshua take over the land of Canaan? Was he going in there talking about nonviolent? No. I'm just telling you. Look, we gotta stop this. We brainwashed by the white man. Come on, man. Just read it. Just read it. Just read it. See what it says for yourself. Just read it. Even in Genesis, Abraham, he fought against all them kings. I mean, come on, man. The evil kings. All of these things that happen, like, come on, man. Look, that's one of those false assumptions. All right, here we go. Here's another one. We don't defend ourselves because we're Christians. You just let anybody treat you any kind of way. You serious? Come on. And look, again, that's why you got to read it, because the Bible never teaches you to be weak. Jesus says, be meek, not weak. Meek, M-E-E-K, but not weak. W-E-A-K. Meek, but not weak. Meek, but not weak. Jesus teaches you to be meek, not weak. He never says be weak. He says be meek. If you look, this is our Lord and Savior. I am your Lord. This is Jesus in the four Gospels. I am your Lord. Jesus was at odds with the religious leaders. This means that Jesus was not a stranger to direct conflict. I'm saying that because I need you to get this, that just because you are a Christian don't mean that you can't defend yourself. But most people will say that because you're a Christian, you're not supposed to defend yourself. Like, you're supposed to be so loving that you're just supposed to let people treat you any kind of way. No, you are not. And I guarantee you this. Look, I teach my boys this. I teach my girls this. You defend yourself, bro. Like, just because you love Jesus don't mean that you gonna just let anybody walk up and just punch you in the head. No, 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 no. You might get mollywopped in the name of the Lord. Come on, man. Look, we supposed to defend ourselves. I'm saying that because, bruh, We're supposed to be wise as serpents, but harmless as doves. But I guarantee you this: we wise as serpents, but harmless as doves until you provoke us or until you try to fight against us. I'm just telling you. That's why I love the OT. I love the Old Testament because the Old Testament show you what it really is like. God never intended for us to be soft. He never intended for us to be weak. He never intended for us to be these kind of people. Like, even if you read in the Gospels, like, look, the false assumption is we not supposed to defend ourselves. That is a lie. You just let people treat you any kind of way. That is a lie. Jesus at one time initiated an uneasy conversation by asking about performing miracles on the Sabbath. It was like he was saying, "Hey, can I do this?" But he knew it was going to spark some trouble because they didn't look. In the Old Testament, David was a man of war. Abraham fought and killed kings. Joshua went on a war campaign to overthrow the Canaanites. I'm saying this because the Bible does not teach you to not fight for what's right. God never tells Christians to be weak, but he does tells you to be meek. But if you cross meekness, you will see I am not weak. I'm just saying this. Look look this character up in the Bible. His name is Caleb. Caleb in the Bible. Think about Caleb. Caleb was like 80 years old and still fighting. Just saying. Look, this goes to number three. Number three is, as a Christian, this is a false assumption about Christians, like we don't believe in violence. I think this stems from what Martin Luther King did. We don't believe in violence because Martin Luther King was nonviolent. And this is where Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, they had, Malcolm X was like by any means necessary. Martin Luther was like nonviolent. And so because Martin Luther was like nonviolent, everybody think that Christians are supposed to be nonviolent. Nowhere in the Bible does God tell the people to shy away from violence. I didn't say that. Just look it up. Just look it up. Let me tell you this. In fact, in the Old Testament, God's people were instruments of punishment and violence. I say that because it's not that God wants you to be the initiator. Like God don't want you to go around bullying people. Like God don't want you to go around like taking stuff that don't belong to you just because you're stronger. No. But he does want you to be able to defend and protect yourself. Like sometimes Negroes just need violence. And not just Negroes. Americanos, Cubanos, Hispanos, Whitos. I ain't gonna say that because I ain't trying to hurt nobody, but Asianos. Sometimes people need violence, and you as a Christian, you gotta love God, but you gotta be able to say, "Hey, bro, come on, bro, come on. I don't want to do. I don't want to. I don't want to do you like that, bro. Come on, back up. Stop. Leave me stop quick. Come on, you come on, man. You got. Sometimes people need you to check that chin. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't want to do you like this. But you brought this on yourself because you thought because I love Jesus, I'm gonna just let you come over here and swing on me. No, I'm not. I mean, come on, man. Come on. I'm just trying to I'm trying to get you to see these things that people say about Christians are really false. All Christians don't believe in nonviolence. Let me say that. I ain't telling you where I fall in that category, but I will say this. Martin Luther King Jr. believed in nonviolence, but all Christians don't believe in nonviolence. Here's number two. I'm almost to number one. Number one is the greatest one, so stay tuned. We have to let people talk to and treat us any kind of way because we are Christians. See, this is the misconception about Christians. Just because Jesus says, Father, forgive them for they know not what they do while he's dying on the cross. See, people think that all Christians are going to be like that, but you don't get this. That some Christians are on the spectrum, bruh. Like some of them have reached that. Some of us, we are aspiring to that. But some of us, okay, if this the totem pole up here, Father, forgive them for they know not what they do. Most of us Christians is like here. we we ain't even thinking about praying this prayer when people come. For real though. For real though. I'm just telling you, bro. We ain't gonna be praying these. We gonna be praying more like these psalms when they be like, "Hey yo, wipe these people out." Like, like Jesus is like the ascent. Like he about to go away to the Father in heaven. But most of us ain't reached that pinnacle yet, bruh. Like we gonna have to bring that down. Like I'm just look. If you think that because we are Christian, because we are Christians, that we supposed to let you talk to us any kind of way, treat us any kind of way, it's real easy for me to say, you know what, I love you, but I can only deal with you for 10 minutes and then I gotta go. Or I can deal with you for 3 minutes and then I gotta do something different because you gonna bring something out of me that ain't where I'm trying to be right now. You know what I'm saying? As a Christian, meekness is not weakness. Like the Bible never teaches Christians to let people walk all over them. You got to get out of this. Everybody is not Martin Luther King Jr. and everybody is not Jesus Christ. It's a spectrum, people, and all of us are striving to be that, but some of us ain't got there yet. But I say that because Christianity don't mean I'm just gonna let you walk all over me. That I can love God and tell you nah. I can love God and be like, back up. I can love God and be like, don't come no bruh. You need to stay further than my arm can reach you right through here. Like I can love God and say that. I can love God and mollywop you right quick. Like put you in a little chokehold right quick. Be like, hey, hold on now. Now I don't want to mess you up, but come on, man. Just saying, man. Gotta stop this. All right. All right. So look, here's the number one. Here's the number one, bro. Number one is, bruh. I really hate to bring this up, but the misconception about Christians is we, bro. This for real though, for real. We worship white Jesus, bro. I have heard this so much. Oh, you're a Christian. You worship that blonde haired, blue eyed Jesus. I'm like, bruh, have you? Look, if you have really read your Bible, you know. Again, as I said earlier in this, I don't remember seeing white people with straight long hair in the Bible. I don't remember seeing it, and maybe I could be wrong. Dark skinned people are mentioned in the Bible. Curly haired people are mentioned in the Bible. Tall people. The way the Bible describes the physique of certain people. I don't see no white people. I say that because to say that we as Christians worship a white Jesus, I don't know where this idea or concept of white Jesus came from. I don't know. Again, I don't have nothing against no white people, but to say that Christians are wrong or we're stupid because we worship the white Jesus, the Bible never describes Jesus as being white. I mean, look. Oh my God. Look, I be trying to tell people this. I be trying to tell people this. Look, a lot of the stuff that people say about Christianity, it be so false. And I'm like, bro, where are you getting your information from? Who said that we worship white Jesus? Who said that? They say, but I'm gonna tell you what, they say that though because they don't want other people to be a Christian. If you read in the Bible for real, the Jesus is never depicted as a white person with blonde hair or blue eyes. Like Jesus would have been, and this is the truth, Jesus would have been a Jew, and where the place that he was would have made him a dark skin colored Jew. When the Bible describes him as returning hair like wool, that means his hair is curly. If you know anything about Jews, they have curly hair. I say that because for people to assume that because you are a Christian, you worship white Jesus, that is so false. That is I reject that out of hand. That's just terrible. Real Christians know that Jesus is would have been a dark colored Jew. The Bible never describes Jesus as white, nor with blonde, long hair. People are gonna say this to you. You worship that white anytime people say that, they only saying it because they trying to discredit the people that are listening from converting or coming over or questioning Christianity. Because they hold this white Jesus as like, this is how we know you've been brainwashed by the white man because you worship this white Jesus, this picture of Jesus that's hanging up. First of all, if you come to my church, the church that I go to, it's a picture of black Jesus in there. Black Jesus with dark colored children, and all of them got curly hair with dark skinned people. They different shades, but ain't none of them depicted in these pictures at my church. They ain't white because that's not how the Bible describes him. I saved that for number one because I need you to know this is one of these false assumptions about Christians that we worship white Jesus, and we don't. This is something that other religions, Hebrew Israelites try to use this. Muslims try to use this. Sometimes I've ran into some Islams that try to use this against Christians to make other people not want to be a Christian, but this is false. We don't believe in white Jesus. We believe in the real Jesus. I can't think of no places where white people are even mentioned in the Bible. I'm sorry, I'm not against white people. I'm just saying I don't see them in the Bible. So to say that we as Christians worship this white Jesus, I mean, the Bible does not describe the real Jesus as white, nor with blonde hair. He is just described as a Jew through the lineage of David. I mean, and look, this was not meant to be a spiritual episode. This just spawned from one of the conversations that I had today. One of the conversations that I have been seeing on YouTube and TikTok. Maybe that's just my feed that's bringing it up. Maybe I have a low key disdain for it to the point to where I get frustrated even when I see it or when I hear it and I want to respond. This episode is me responding in my own way. I ain't never done no debate or nothing like that, but I wish I could do one. I wish I would do one. I hope and pray that someone definitely wants to debate me. like I seen a debate and the guy, man, I ain't gonna say their name, but man, this guy got totally destroyed by the Christian. The Christian won, flying colors. And my thing is, most of the time when people talk about Christianity, they say so many things that are false, but the people who say that they false, they can't find the right information to like like speak to show that they right. They have it, but they don't know it. And so like for me, everything when I said to you on this episode, on this late night live, everything that I said to you on this episode, I can back it up. I know where to go to point to in the Bible. I know what to look for. I didn't give you all that because this ain't no Bible study, but I wanted to just respond to all of the stuff, the fakeness, the falsity, the people that are talking negative about us as Christians. Lies, all lies. I wanted to do an episode about that. So, look, and thank you for listening to the podcast. This felt like a rant. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. I don't know. But I enjoy doing it. So look, for my last words, quit believing everything that you hear. Quit believing everything that you hear. All right, man. I'm going offline. My show comes on every Friday at noon, 12 o'clock. Tonight I decided to do a late night live, 12 o'clock, but at midnight. Share this with somebody. If you enjoyed this episode, give me the likes, give me the thumbs up. If you didn't enjoy this episode, leave me a comment, email me, Marcus at thegodmovement.com, Marcus at tgmchurch.org. Just email me, leave it in the comments. I'm going offline. My brothers, till next time. To infinity. Hold on. Till next time. To infinity. To infinity and beyond.